everybody, I'm Tom Vessel.
And I'm Wendy Yee.
Today we're taking a look at Propolis.
The bee's knees.
This is not deja vu. You're like, did they already review this? Well, we did, but we made a mistake on one of the rules, so we pulled it down and looked over that rule because it was a rule that we definitely harped on. We'll talk about that more in a bit. First, we're going to show you how it plays. We'll be right back.
In Propolis, players are trying to become the bee's knees by getting the most points. They're going to do that by collecting buildings and then some of these queen palaces and then using the score multipliers and resources to gain points for the end of the game. The way they're going to do that is by taking one action on a turn, and those actions are going to include doing stuff on the landscape tiles. That's going to be placing out bees on a card. You can place out one bee, or you can place out as many bees as there are in a single card. Some of those bonuses, like you take the bonuses immediately, so you could get resources like this yellow over here, or you could gain an extra bee, like on that green space there showing the bee. As you place them standing up. Another action you can take is to lay them down. You would get the same rewards that are listed on the card, and you can lay down 3 bees total across any cards that you have bees on. So let's say I did this for a blue, a yellow, and an extra bee from the little pile over there. And that could be my turn as well. The final turn that you can do on the landscape cards is to take workers back. So if I needed bees, I don't right now, but if I needed them, I could take some back. Now, the 2 other action options you have on a turn is to build these basic buildings. So these are cute little beehives. They're going to give you ongoing points. This is kind of a multiplier for Ds. They give you basic points, and then they're going to give you ongoing resources. So this is a permanent wild for any future exchange you make. And then finally, there are ways to get additional bees from the center area over here. So with these cards, the cost is on the bottom, the reward is at the top. Some of them do require bees, so if I wanted to buy that one there, I would need to spend bees as well as the 3 orange and the 3 pink. Finally, we have the queen castles over here, the queen's palaces, and these require permanent resources to be able to gain as well as bees. So if you look over here, I have a permanent blue and a permanent yellow, so I could say that I'm working towards this one right now, or this one over here, but I'm not there yet, even though I have plenty of blues and yellows down here, because I specifically need the square ones that are over here. At the end of a round, we're going to check for majority over here in the landscape cards. And what that means is if there is a row that has no completely empty cards, then we're going to check to see who has majority of bees. Now, the kicker with this is that laid down or fortified bees are worth double, whereas standing up bees are worth only 1 point. So pink has 8 points towards majority and blue only has 5. No matter which player completed the row, either way they get a wild. So if green completed this, they would get a wild. Now, because red had majority and it was not completed on their turn, they would also gain a wild along with their worker bees back. Now, if they had been the ones to complete the row and still had majority, then they would have just gained their bees back and not an additional wild. So they would have gotten a wild for completing it, but not a wild for it being on their turn. That makes sense. So they would just get 1 wild at the end of that turn. The other way to get a wild on a turn is if the cards were tied and then someone were to fortify during that time. Green, even though they didn't change the majority, could still get a wild on their turn. Or if blue decided that they wanted to fortify, then they could gain a wild as well and then trigger the majority count. As with this middle row, the empty-most right card will get removed and then the cards will scoot over at the end of majority and then a new landscape will come out, and that is how this scrolls through different cards. Finally, the end of the game is triggered when someone gets 10 cards in front of them. Then you just complete the turn or the round and then you count up points. And that, in a nutshell, is how you play Propolis.
Okay, first of all, I'm gonna come back a little bit on this stupid people thing.
Oh, okay.
I think it's dumb. I think you can just say bees. I will always think it's stupid and dumb and idiotic. But since I don't even know they're bees and they're building all kinds of buildings and stuff, maybe they actually are people.
Oh, just in bee costumes?
Okay.
Construction workers.
All that to be said, there's no theme in this game. I mean, not really. You're building buildings, but the fact that you're bees, You're not collecting
There
honey.
is one aspect of theme in this, and that is that you can only build one queen's palace.
Okay,
and I
fine.
think that rule is dumb because I want to build more. Right? I've built up all this engine, and I've looked. It's the only part that I can look ahead.
And they're not even worth that many points.
They're not worth that many points, right? But the only reason you can get one is because thematically you can only have one queen in your hive. See? Theme.
Got it.
It's there.
Component-wise, though, it looks. I love the way the cards look with the colors. I think they look great. My biggest complaint, component-wise, the boards and everything are cool, is the actual bees themselves. Just that you have to stand them up. It's a game mechanism because laying them down does more. But you just naturally lay things down when you put them on boards. Yeah. Especially these because they're not. They're a little tall.
Yeah, because you don't do that with regular meeples. I usually stand up regular meeples when I place them down.
Right, because they're chunky and they sit there.
They fit right. Yeah, I think it's a holding and a shape thing.
I almost would have done it the reverse way. You stand them up.
They're fortified. They're stronger. Yeah.
And then that way you always lay them down. But minor, I suppose.
All right, I do want to talk about the rule that we harped on because I feel like I've had so many arguments with different people of like what actually the rules are when it comes to how to end a row. Because in one paragraph, they have how to end a row and they explain the way that the person that has majority works. But then in two different sections, it has to do with actually ending the row and if the other person gets the wild.
Yeah, unfortunately, it should say it all in the same section. It says it in three different places, which is how we missed it because when you look it up, you look at the one section, you go, there you go.
And it's still a little confusing as to if there's ties in a row, and so it can't be completed. If someone that is not a part of that tie fortifies, do they get a wild just because it is completed technically? Like that's, I think, how it reads.
Maybe, but basically the rule is you finish the row, whoever has the most gets all their bees back.
And a wild.
And a wild.
Yes.
And also the person finishing the row gets a wild. Unless it's the person who has the majority, they still only get one.
Yeah, max one wild per route.
I still think, and this is what I said in the first video, and I was finishing a row when you don't have majority is something you will almost never do. I don't care if I get a wild. I'm giving you a wild, and more importantly, you get your people back. Getting your people back is huge. It saves you an entire turn.
Yeah, I don't think that they need a wild as well.
Yeah, it just feels, if that's true. If you get the wild and they didn't get the wild, but they got their people back, I still would be like, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
But I might because I want a wild. But if you're getting a wild too, so I just finish my own rows. I'm constantly finishing my own rows because also no one wants to finish my row.
Right.
This is slightly mitigated with more players. But with fewer players.
But you do more rows with more players.
Yeah, but you might need resources. I don't know. I'm just saying that in one 3-player game, it was like, hey, I'll finish my row, you finish your row. I'll finish my row. It's like, come on.
I think the thing that it prevents is it prevents more cards coming out because people are more likely to spend time fortifying, so you have less options, so that if you're specifically looking for a pink or a purple or something that's a little bit more rare, you're less likely to be able to get those cards out, which means you're less likely to be able to buy stuff from the main buildings. And that means if you can't get your main buildings, then you can't get your queen's buildings because they all just kind of come out random.
I like a lot of the mechanisms of this game. Mm-hmm. I like the idea of putting people out, getting resources, even laying them down. I was like, oh, I can get 2 different resources. I like that concept. I like spending resources to get cards who then give me, I call it the splendor effect because it's known for splendor, of getting more cards, getting them easier. It's just that the engine for me never really takes off the ground. The queens you can only get by building that engine. Mm-hmm. And some you might want a very specific one and you're like, well, I need one more yellow thing I get every turn. Where is that card? I don't know that card doesn't exist. Where is it? It's one of the face down cards or 4 of the face down cards. And I found that just to be unsatisfying. When it was done, I was like, I'm glad the game's done because it was a full-size game, but I didn't feel like I got to do enough. Mm-hmm. I didn't feel like there's so few points in the game. The queens thing, like you mentioned, like you can get one. I'm like, whoa, which one am I going to get? Yeah. I don't know that I even care that strong. I mean, you want to get one because it's points, but
it's a wild, so it gets to be a multiplier that helps. Yeah.
Sure.
I think for me, this is still a game that is just an almost there. Like the buildings as they come out only some of them have that splendor effect. I want more of that. I want to enjoy that engine building, especially because those Queens buildings are so hard to get. And I want those Queens buildings to be more exciting. Like, I feel like they're not quite there. So if I can only get one, I want it to be really awesome and feel like it was worth all that work to get there. And so I feel like it's just I feel like the interaction in the basic player board area, like we're almost there, but once again, like I'm not that motivated to end rows for you. So I like a lot of what's going on. I just feel like it's not quite there for me. So for me, if you're okay with, I share my score.
Yeah.
But I'm giving this a 6.5 because it really is almost there. I like a lot of what's going on, but I just don't feel like this is a game that I'm going to come back to because I'd rather just play Splendor. I'd rather just do other engine building things because it's just not quite there for me.
Yeah, everything Wendy said, I 100% agree with the exception of I also don't like it that much, which is it's weird. But I mean, so I'm a 5. But
Okay.
I mean,
No, it's fair.
I agree. To me, when I play this, I'm like, I could be playing Splendor. I could be playing one of the other Flat Out games
Yeah.
where you collect resources.
Any of the flippy over card
Like, I don't
games.
want to trash on Flat Out. I think Flat Out makes a lot of cool games. I just think this one doesn't reach the mark of their other ones. Their Point series, for example, I would play all 3 of those over this. And this feels like one that they were like, this is not good enough for the point line. And I can't really recommend it if you like bees because the theme isn't really there. And if you like engine building, oh man, I can give you 50 games.
So many better engine builders, yeah.
So it's a good try and it's pretty as all get out. I love the motif, but that's about the most I can push on that end. So anyway, that's Propolis. I'm Tom Basil.
I'm Wendy Yee.
See you next time. Bzzz. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you like this review or whatever you just watched, wasn't it amazing? Check out our channel, Dice Tower. We have all kinds of things. We review games, we do top 10s, we play games live. It's all about board games, but especially the people who play them. Check out Dice Tower YouTube channel.